So welcome back, everyone. We're live on Facebook, so hi to everybody out there. And my next guest has been on with me once before. I have with me Gina R. Smith. Gina, you are a coaching and you also do advisory. I want you to tell everybody first a little bit about you and what kind of coaching that you do. And I have to ask you too, what makes you different than anybody else out there? Because we know that there's coaches out there, but some stand out more than others.
Thank you. There's that's 3 questions there. A little bit about me.
Is that okay?
That's fine. That's fine. But if I forget one, you tell me.
Okay.
I'm an Air Force brat. I'm the second of 5 children in my family. The oldest girl, which has all the responsibility. I grew up mostly between the states of Texas and Missouri. My dad really didn't get transferred around a lot. Ended up going to college in Missouri. And I followed him into the Air Force because when I graduated from college, the job market was terrible. Mm. And I wanted to get a master's degree, couldn't afford to do that. So spent 5 years in the Air Force as what they call an aircraft maintenance officer. So basically you're an operations officer for a flight line. Got to work with fighter jets and that whole exciting environment. I was actually stationed here in Tucson at Davis-Monthan Air Force Base.
Well, first of all, thank you for your service.
Sure.
And I have seen you on Facebook quite a bit. I see you come up a lot. Peak performance coach. I want you to talk about what that is.
Okay, what I do is help people live at a peak state. So your well-being, your health, your mental health, your professional life, your relationships, and your money.
Oh, we were just
a lot of people are living at capacity, and that's a different place. And capacity is that place of overwhelm, burnout, discouragement. No one knows the number of people who just would love to just quit their job today if they could.
I bet you a lot of people out there that are listening would say that, for sure.
If they could afford it, they just quit because it's become too much. Mm-hmm. So they're at capacity, and I know this because I lived like this at once. At your capacity, usually the job is taken over most of your life. It's taken over most of your time. It's taken most of your energy. For a lot of people, it's taking their health. For some people, it's taking their mental health because they're walking around with Xanax in their pocket to get through the day, or coming home and numbing at night to just relieve themselves of the stress of the day. For many people, it's taken over their ability to be in their relationships. I've known a couple of people who've come home to like empty closets and a John Doe letter because all of that goes. So at capacity, you're not really thriving. You're just surviving every day.
Mm-hmm. A lot of people can relate to that for sure. Now, when you work with somebody, obviously you have to get to know them.
Yes.
And that's like a discovery type of a call.
Yes.
And you do a free consultation.
I do a free consultation. Sometimes we might talk more than one time to get to that point of, I really want to understand the person. I want to understand what their challenge is. Honestly, want to understand their willingness to make change, because part of it is going to be their willingness to trust themselves and to trust me to make changes for a life that's more fulfilling and better and more well-rounded. Mm-hmm. I don't really like to use a work-life balance term. It's overused, but you can have a more well-rounded and fulfilling life if you're in that place of capacity.
So how do you help them with that? I mean, everybody has let's say their job, they have family, other things that they like to do and put that into the mix. Obviously, some people might even be taking care of another family member, what have you. When you work with a client, how do you get to that point where you can help them let go, or how does that work?
So the first thing we do is look at their mindset and about what they're believing about what they're doing now. So a lot of people think, what I'm doing now, this is the only way I can do it. I can't live another way, or I can't work somewhere else, or I have to take care of this or that. So let's look at what your mindsets are and start helping them to change their mindset, because everything starts in the mind. Whether I believe I can or can't, it's true.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so everything starts in the mind. How do we change your mindsets about where you are and where you'd like to go? And then one of the biggest things I do is help people take back their time. So a lot of people that are at capacity, something or someone else is taking up their time, and we allow, it's our choices, it's our habits, it's our lack of boundaries around what is our time. And then when they start to take back their time, they start to free up space in their life. There's, some common things that I often encounter people saying, I don't have time. I don't have time for that. I don't have time to read a book. I don't have time to take care of my body. So most of us would say exercise in some way. I don't have time to prepare nutritious food. I don't have time, my kids got stuff, but I don't have time to go to their stuff. A lot of people don't have time for fun. When I was grinding like that and wearing myself out, I was not having very much fun because I worked all the time. At that time in my life, you could have put a tagline on me that said, I don't have time, I gotta work.
You know what? Everybody, I know that everybody can relate to what you're saying. And honestly, you're in your own way, right?
Yeah.
Of really everything that you probably want to do.
Yeah.
Though, I have to talk to you about this. So we have children.
Yes.
They're the number one suckers of your time. And when I say sucker, I mean suck it up your time, right?
Yes.
It could even be toxic people that are in your life.
Yes.
That ask you to listen to their stuff all the time or what have you.
Yes.
Right? A job.
A lot of times it's our work, especially if people are high achievers and high earners. There's a high level of satisfaction often with that combination of things. But then you start to drop the boundaries around your own life and time. Sure, I'll work on vacation. Sure, I'll work on holidays. Sure, you need me to go to Miami tomorrow? Excuse me, I'm on the computer getting ready to go. Sure, this meeting's coming up, but my family had a vacation, but we'll change it. You start losing the boundaries on your own life in the interest of work, and part of that is the mindset and belief, I have to kill myself for success. I have to do absolutely everything asked of me for success. And I'm in no way encouraging people to leave their jobs or no way encouraging people to be lazy, but there's a boundary.
I think what I'm hearing from you is that there's a structure that you can do.
Yes.
Restructuring,
Yeah.
the way that you do things. Making time,
Yes.
I'm sure is probably one of them, right?
I've worked from home since 1995, so before it was a thing.
You're lucky.
I know. I was made to work from home, but it creeps into your life because that office is in your house. You walk by the computer and think, oh, I'll just take care of this one thing, and then you find yourself there hours later. I used to wake up first thing in the morning and pick up my phone, go to my work email, and I don't care what job you do, immediately there's something alarming on there that says
That you want to take care of immediately
Yes.
before anything else
Yes.
happens.
So then I run to my computer. So my plan to go to the gym, out the door. My plan to actually sit down and have a humane breakfast of some kind, out the door. My plan for other things, out the door. And then I'm absorbed in that. And I still find myself there at 10 o'clock at night. I used to work 5 nights a week.
And I know so many people who we have our offices in our home.
Yes.
The phone, the iPads, the laptops, you can do it anywhere.
Yes.
And it's great that you can maybe be on the beach and working, but that's not what the beach is there for you to work. You're supposed to just relax and enjoy it, right?
Exactly.
And it sounds like it's okay. Go ahead.
No, exactly, but that's part of what we're being told, you know, well, I can work and I can take this work anywhere and work, but the purpose of you taking off from work is for you.
Absolutely.
It is for you to refresh yourself so that you can come back with some fresh energy.
Yeah.
It's not for you to work the whole time because someone gave you a laptop and a phone, now it's convenient for you to work all the time.
Right, and I know that one time I just did something completely different that I never would do before when I went on a boat with a friend.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt fabulous, you know, when I let it all go, there was nothing, I took nothing with me, and I mean, even if it was just one day,
Yeah.
it was fabulous. I love what you do. You can check her out on her website. It's Gina R. Smith.com. She's rated with the Better Business Bureau, and she works worldwide. We're going to come back and talk further. Everyone can relate to what she's saying. Are you okay with what I'm doing?
Yeah.
Okay, good. We're going to keep talking because we are on Facebook Live right now. We're going to go into, it's funny when you talked about all of this, it's so funny, and I guess it's okay if I say this on, I'm
Sure.
having surgery on the 26th, some
Okay.
major surgery. And I said to myself, I'm going to take the 25th off. The 26th is the day. And now normally if I would take a day off, it's not from not working.
Yeah.
It's from working at my office, because when I come here, I lose about 3 hours a day, right? So I go there and I'm working. But I just said to somebody who'd be very proud of me, that I said, you know what, I'm gonna take the day off and I'm not gonna work.
That's awesome. The last team I managed, you know, and I always tell my team this stuff, like, take your time off. This is, a lot of smart people in this company. If something happens with one of your customers, we're going to figure out how to fix it.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people, especially in sales, are afraid to do that. And one of the women on my team did. And when she came back, she called me. She said, "I'm so glad you told me to do that." She had 2 children. They were going on like a big family vacation. She's like, "I just relaxed and enjoyed myself the whole time. And now I feel energized coming back to this,
Right.
rather than
It's better
me
for you.
like hiding from my kids or my husband and pulling out my computer and working on work that I could relieve myself from doing." And I just tell people, it's like, if a bus hits you tomorrow, we're gonna be sorry. Sympathy to your family, and then there's gonna be a meeting where somebody says, "What was Gina doing? She just got hit by a bus. What was she doing? What was she working on? What contracts do we need to worry about?" And the world is gonna keep turning. I mean, it hurts our egos, but we're not indispensable.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
Very true. I think what happens, a lot of people have started their own companies,
Yes.
their own business, and I'm not sure if they really meant it to happen that way, right? But it just sort of morphs into that, you know?
I think we know the behavior we know. So lots of people duplicate the same level of stress or more in the business that they started.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But, oh well, I will tell you after the show.
Okay.
I'll tell you.
Yeah.
Because unfortunately too, there's people who were married
Yes.
and then they got divorced and now they're the sole breadwinner.
Yes.
They're, right? Okay, hold on. So welcome back, everyone. Gina R. Smith, we're going to be talking a little bit about our boundaries.
Yes.
But also, you do sales training, and I want you to talk a little bit about that because I want to know how that coincides with this.
So I spent almost 30 years as a salesperson. I was the most unexpected salesperson in the world, but I got into sales and loved it. I sold disposable and consumable supplies to the big procedure areas of hospitals. And about half of my time I was a sales representative, and then the other half of the time I was a regional sales director, but it's all sales.
That's all, yeah, we're selling ourselves every day, folks. Okay, go ahead.
And became acquainted with a person who's now my coach, but I also have an affiliation with a sales training company called Eric Law Firm International. And the company provides some online sales training, and then we offer to pair it with coaching. Because what we often find, especially with individuals who take sales jobs or smaller companies that don't have the money to buy these big sophisticated sales trainings, people get a sales job and they get set in a room with some videos and a 3-ring binder, maybe, and that's their training. And they often fail or feel a great deal of frustration because they haven't had a system to help integrate the training into here's the skill set you need to develop. Selling gets such a bad rap because salespeople are represented in movies and television as just, liars and cheaters that are trying to get your money and get over on you. And that's not really the truth. I had a very high relationship selling. Customers had to have a high level of trust in me. And selling is a process. It's a series of steps, just like learning to drive a car. So we want to help people learn this is a skill set you can gather for yourself. And like any skill set, it has to be practiced and measured and adapted to your environment. And that's how the coaching piece pairs with that. And the coaching piece helps people as a system of follow-up, like, are you getting this? Are you getting what this means? So then let's go to the next step. And if not, how do we help you understand it?
Well, let me say this. I also think that being in sales, is probably the number one business that you can be in that is the highest paying job
Yes.
out there.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not talking about the President of the United States in any way, but I'm just saying happens to be, you can call your own shots on this,
Yes.
right? Especially if you work on a commission basis,
Yeah.
right? You are your own boss. And a lot of people do, they frown upon salespeople, but I think it's because they don't know how. The ones that are frowned on they don't know how to do it, so they may come off as pushy or what have you. Or am I right?
Yeah, people
Uh-huh.
have a misbelief that salespeople are extroverts that talk a lot, but actually, I'm an introvert. I'm not an extrovert, so I'm never gonna be that person that's pushy. And
Like me.
there are kinds of products and things where that style is what's needed or what's effective for
Right.
them. But actually, some of the best salespeople are introverts because they understand how to listen
Mhm. Absolutely.
and understand how to build relationships with people.
Now, how does the sales part of what you do and teach and train help them with knowing their boundaries and things like that?
If they decide to engage in coaching, all that stuff comes up because it's a problem for everybody. How do you organize your day? How do you use your time? If you are not a person who's very good at self-managing, you have to really figure out, it's almost, we were always encouraged to look at our territories or regions as our own business.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got to figure out, I need to make this many calls. How do I set my calendar up for that? I need to do this. How do I set myself up for that in a systematic way? If you've got to drive, I don't even remember how many miles were in my territory, but across several states, a lot of people that work for corporations, your territory is not just your hometown.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you manage all that? A lot of people don't have that skill. They're like, oh, it's on me to figure out the time I'm gonna make these calls. It's on me to figure out how to prospect customers. It's on me to have the conversations with people that get me the next meeting with them that leads to the next meeting that eventually leads to the closing of the sale.
It's so important.
Yeah.
And to be able to be organized. And and being busy is not bad. If it's, she's looking at me, so tell me what you think.
So being busy and being productive are two different things.
I didn't talk about that part of it, okay? When I say this, we were talking a little bit about busy and going
Mhm.
and going and going. If you structure it right, it doesn't get overwhelming to you,
Right.
right? And you're right, definitely, are you being productive? Just because you're busy doesn't mean that you're being productive. Now, that's a whole nother conversation.
Whole nother
Yeah,
conversation.
and I mean, and if you wanna talk about it, you certainly can, but, you know, it's how, I think what you're doing is you're overlooking to see what that person's doing, how they're doing it, and then maybe giving them some tips on what they can do to change that, to help them make themselves more productive, let's say.
Yes.
Okay.
And so that, you know, a company has an expense to hire people, and it's wasted money when people are hired and they last for 90 days or 60 days. Then the company has to start the whole cycle all over again. And it's bad for the person who maybe started a job with hope, thinking, wow, this is gonna be a great place for me to work and I'm gonna become a successful salesperson. And they're overwhelmed by how to figure out how to begin that.
And if you're just given a desk and a phone, and
Yeah.
had a good, go ahead, go.
Good luck.
Right, and, you know, if they're only paying you a commission, they're not gonna carry you, stay there as long as you want,
No.
and if you're not gonna really be able to do it, you're gonna get frustrated and then leave, and then
Yes.
they do have to say. Now, I wanted to ask you, do you work with just individuals or sales teams?
We work with both.
Both?
We have, if you have a sales team and you're listening, we'd love to come, or I'd love to come and speak to your sales team at one of your sales meetings. I know lots of sales managers have to have meetings and they're looking for guest speakers. Let me come speak to your team, either about something inspirational or about at least 3 things that I know apply to sales and helping increase sales in any industry. And
Go ahead.
just give me a chance at the end to talk about our product, and we go from there.
Well, the best thing to do is check her out on the website, which is GinaRsmith.com. She's rated with the Better Business Bureau. You've also written a book. We didn't talk about that today. But she's written a book as well, and she works worldwide. One of the things that I think is lovely too about being able to work worldwide in your industry because of Zoom,
Mhm.
it's allowed you to do so much. Can you do when you do your sales training and talks that you do, can you do those both in person and on Zoom?
Yes, virtually and in person, I've done both.
You know, especially for people who have a sales team, right?
Mhm.
It's always great to have somebody to come in and, you know, perk them up a little bit, give them some ideas, and not just once. You know, maybe you do it every quarter or
Mhm.
what have you, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I also wanted to kind of go over a couple of other things for you. You say that you have worked with many people. You want to talk about some of the results that they've had?
I'm working with a couple of people right now. This one gentleman is the running manufacturing at a very busy manufacturing facility, and he's one of the people that he's not at that capacity yet, but he's getting there. And part of our discussion, he said, I've got 2 young children and a wife, and I find myself every night getting home late, and then I'm sitting there with my computer, and I realize their lives are going by. And I realize instead of spending time with my wife, being present, I'm sitting there with my computer on my lap working. And we really talked about how do you find some time in your day while you're still at the plant to take care of some of these emails so that you're not taking this home at night. And at first it seemed impossible, but he really, I believe the people I work with, the solutions are in them, they're not seeing them.
Right.
So he took some time, and the next time we met, he said, listen, I found a couple of things. I found a place, offices,
Go ahead.
where the salespeople are. No one goes there, and I go in there and hide, and I do some emails. And he said, now that when I'm sitting for a meeting and there's 10 or 15 minutes to wait, I go through those easy things and I take them off the list. And I'm finding myself able to go home and be with my family. Because he said, he read us saying, no one's going to remember how much you worked 20 years ago except your kids.
Listen to that. That's awesome. And let me tell you something, folks. Everybody out there can relate to what she's saying. This is the world that we live in today, but it doesn't have to be like that. Check her out on her website. It's GinaRsmith.com. Rated with the Better Business Bureau. If you've got a sales team, check her out and give her a call.